to remind everyone that Maitland Football Club and all the Jaffas football would like
I don't know whether she plays
to
this
remind Euro
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
regarding
It's one thing when one
players.
like, mate, you understand one parent and then I could imagine both of them. Like, it's not being Richie McCaw's kids. You got Richie McCaw and then his Mrs. Captain who's doing hot.
Safe.
What do you want to do? I want to be away. So what? Today's game between our mighty Maitland Magpies and Lambton Jaffas. I'll begin today by acknowledging the Wanara people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered today, and pay my respect to elders both past and future. I extend our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. The Maitland Football Club and Northern New South Wales Football would like to remind all players, team officials and spectators of the strict zero-tolerance policy regarding we are dedicated to maintaining a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone involved, free from intimidation. We kindly ask that all individuals show respect towards officials, as the game would not be possible without their vital contribution. Straight into a happy birthday to Stumpy. Semi's on for it again, sort of like finish 5th instead of 4th or something, or 7th instead of 6th, and like how way this home.
Happy birthday, Stump. For the club sponsors. East Maitland Bowling Club. Burton Automotive. The Geordie Tavern. Thompson and Glass Prince. KS Accountants. Elijah. The Mutual Bank. Castles and Wines. Frano's Construction. Brisbane Organic. Snap Fitness. Orica. Motion Group. Origin Logic. Wholesale. Dullboys. Coke Beer. Kelly and Partners. Ozfire Compliance Services. Gerald Plumbing. Quarry Mining. And our ground sponsor today. Scotland Espresso Bar. Wilson Superstars. Hunter Home Renovation. Maitland Station. Baker Air Refrigeration. Wild Flame Restaurant. Creative. Stein Shop. AV Chartered Accountants. All Well Services. McGregor Finance Group. UVAC. Fullside Hunter Valley. Crisis Funeral Service. Hunter Outdoor Equipment. Newly Butchery. Video Studio. Thank you very much for that
Nice legend up there from you up there, okay?
Don't give me a reason to.
She started saying something, and I'm just like, that's some for me, they've got a lot of and I'm telling no, you've decided to move with us down there. Go for the old boys in there in front of all the old boys.
This is a great pitch.
I was surprised when I got called off a couple of weeks ago.
So, you'll probably mention it. There's a
Good afternoon and welcome to a soggy Cook Square Park where the pitch might be a little heavy, but both Maitland FC and Lambton Jaffas are starting to gather some serious momentum as we hit round 11 and the midway point of the Northern New South Wales NPL. The Jaffas arrive unbeaten in 5 games and hunting a 3rd consecutive league win and a win that could lift them into the top 5 by the end of the round. Matt Cahill is the man in form and the man of the moment. 3 goals in the last 7 days. A double last Sunday against Cooks Hill and the match winner in extra time on Wednesday night in the Australia Cup. He'll be looking to impact again off the bench today. It's not all smooth sailing for the visitors. Coach David Tenchevsky will be without experienced defender Jimmy Oates due to a hamstring injury. And also throwing in suspended midfielder Pat Bond. There's no shortage of reshuffling required. Maitland, meanwhile, have had to wait patiently. They've been washed out 2 games in a row. Their last league game before Easter, when we last saw them in league action, they were beating top 5 side Charles Tanazuri 2-1. And they've backed that up midweek with a 4-0 cup cruise past zone league side Crowders Bay United. Up front, they've got a proven match winner in Braden Crowley. The former A-League man is 3rd in the league's Golden Boot race with 8 goals and is always a threat in transition or from a penalty spot. 2 sides on the rise, plenty on the line, and conditions that will test fitness and finesse alike. I'm Chris McPherson, and joining me is injured Jaffas gun Matt Butner. Matt, with your side missing a few key names and Maitland starting to sharpen up, where do you see the key battles this afternoon?
Yeah, thanks for having me today, Chris. And yeah, good conditions. Looks like it's cleared up today for some good football. And yeah, the Jaffas are looking good. If you include the Australia Cup win midweek, it's going to be 6 games undefeated at the moment. So you mentioned form at the moment, and it's very important that both teams start to really pick up some points as we head to that middle point of the season right now. Where we could find goals for the Jaffas, Bailey Newton, he's back. He's back in the yellow and black, and he's going to be starting on the left wing, I believe. So expect some firepower from him up front.
On that note, let's take a run through the sides. You want to run us through the Jaffas lineup?
Yeah, of course. At the back, of course, Ben Kennedy. He's just coming over now to get a quick sip in. That's followed by Joey Langwer in the middle. We've got... bear with me. Lockie Graham in the starting lineup. Number 10, Archie Finn. Lockie Griffiths, number 11. Oscar Krakenthorpe, number 12 as well, making a start. Sam Donnellan in the right fullback position, number 15. Riley McNaughton and Nikolai Topos-Stanley will be in between in the back line. And then Tommy Waller at left back.
Of course, the man you talked about coming back from his freshman college year is Bailey Newton. What, are you expecting a little bit from him?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he didn't get the clearance on Wednesday for the Australia Cup game against Adamstown, but I know he's been roaring to get back on the pitch and play for the club. And look, goals have been few and far for the Jaffas this season. So, look, everyone, including the coaching staff, are pretty pleased that he's back and hoping for a big game today.
Well, the others will be looking for a big game. Is Maitland FC the home side in front of their old boys here today? And in goals is the experienced Matt Trott. Number 2, up back for them, Connor Butchard. 3, Jordan Jackson will also form part of their defence. 5 is Charlie Cox. 7, their Central Coast United, or one of their Central Coast United recruits this year, Daniel McFarlane. Number 9 is Tay Power O'Toole. 14, that man we talked about in the intro, Braden Crowley. 15, Isaac Collins. 30, Matt Smale. 35, Jordan Lennon. And 99, Aidan Rafferty. They are coached by Adam Hughes, his first season at the club, and Lambton coached by David Tenchevsky. We just await the referee getting us underway, and it's like we timed that to perfection. We're underway and rolling as the sun begins to set behind us here at Cook Square Park. Round 11, Northern New South Wales NPL, match of the round. As Tom Waller goes ranging forward early. Headed away, Rafferty, I should say. Langlois now, trying to set up. Donnellan, well pushed through. Sits up now for Newton. First touch back in the Jaffas colours. Donnellan, ranging ball, and Trott, calm and casual, takes that on the chest. Maitland setting up to play it out of the back, playing with a back 5. The wing backs starting to push up. One of those here in front of us, Tay Power O'Toole.
Expect a good brand of football today from both teams. Disregard where they're sitting on the table. There's definitely talent on the pitch right now, and you'd have to say this is one of the best grass pitches on the competition, right?
Well, considering the condition it's in, we know there's been games earlier and plenty of activity earlier on. The under-18s was a 3-1 win for Maitland. The reserve grade a 4-1 win for Maitland. A little ominous if you're a Lambton fan, although the 18s was against Broadmeadow. It's held up very well. We saw last night's game was called off at Lyle Carr. And we've been absolutely beset with all the rain, and the fact that this pitch is still holding up quite well. I'm sure it's a little heavy underfoot, but yeah, conditions are looking good. The ball's running well early. McNaughton gets himself involved here. Plays it wide. Denellen. Crackenthorpe a little faint and leaves the ball. Now back to McNaughton. Drives it wide. Trying to switch up the play. Trying to work to the outside here. Turned over in defence. Ball beats all, and McNaughton again there at the back to clean up, as he so regularly is. Nervy moment. Oh. Raftery almost picks the pocket. The deflection falls favourably for Lambton, and McNaughton decides just to get it out of there. Send it down towards Archie Finn, who's being harangued. Nice ball, Finn, out in front. Griffiths got time, gets a shot away. Trott parries it. Showing all of his experience there, Matt Trott.
Yeah, it's a brilliant save. Brilliant save from the number one for Maitland. And, yeah, how about the turn from Archie Finn? Just holding up, Geordie Lennon in his back. Little half turn, left foot out to Lockie Griffiths. And that was really positive signs for Jaffas. First shot on target for the game.
Beautifully weighted pass from Finn. He only took one glance at it and nailed it right on the spot. Now, can Bailey Newton do the same? From the set piece, plenty of height in the box for Jaffas. Newton delivers well to the back post. Topple Stanley there, but Trott outleaps him. And then as soon as he hit that Joey Langlois, he knew that he'd put it well over the goals. That's a promising sign. Just nailing that set piece right onto that back post. It's a danger spot there with Topple floating around, Matt.
Yeah, a couple of tall timber for the Jaffas. And look, that is a strong point for us moving forward, definitely. Causing a threat, especially off those set pieces. It's a good ball from Bailey Newton as well. He's had two positive touches to start his game.
Now Maitland trying to go on a quick counter here, looking for Crowley. He's outnumbered. He's waiting for numbers coming into the box. Plays it in front of Raftery, but McNaughton easily and calmly deals with that. Looks like Maitland are going to try and rely on a little bit of that pace that Crowley's got against the more seasoned legs, we might say. And we saw Riley McNaughton come off midweek in the cup game with a bit of tenderness, I guess it was probably best described as. So they're going to try and play to the advantage of Crowley's pace, you'd think.
Yeah, of course. Just see how this plays out.
All dealt with for the moment.
Yeah, look, heavy legs might play a role in this game for sure, with both clubs playing the Australia Cup fixture through the week. And, yeah, exactly as you said, that man right there on the ball, he's the danger man for Maitland, and their last competition game scored a double to get that win over Charlestown, so there's no doubt they're going to try and feed him as much ball as possible.
Well, we know 8 goals, 8 games, 8 of their 15 goals in total, so he's responsible for more than half of their offensive production. I don't think it takes rocket science, and you don't need to be a coach at the level of David Tenchevsky to put him on the top of your tip sheet.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Now Maitland lofting the ball, looking long for Power O'Toole. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. He had the outside line on Denellen, and now it's pushed across the sideline, and they're going to say, puzzlingly, that Sam Denellen got the last touch on that, so the Magpies will get the throw.
Yeah, positive play from the midfielder Daniel McFarlane there, recruit from Central Coast United, and you know he's been a soldier in the middle for Maitland again on that left foot there.
Drives it wide, spots the open player on the opposite side. They can't find an avenue to goal now, so they play it back. Lofted into the box. Not quite sure what is happening in that little battle there, but Tay Power O'Toole seems more interested in hanging on to Sam Denellen rather than trying to beat him. It's interesting, you talk about McFarlane. That was, I guess, a big switch when you have a look at it. He'd been a club captain and part of the furniture at Central Coast United, so for him to take that step and challenge himself at the next level at NPL has been a big leap for him this year.
Yeah, of course, and a positive one. You know, I think, you know, put the team's performances aside individually, he's been a great midfielder for Maitland and a good player in the competition. And again, I think it's going to be a competition in the midfield today. Crackenthorpe with a big test. There's a good battle in there already.
You see Finn trying to use his frame to get to the outside, but broken up by Power O'Toole.
The old boys are loving this today. Right next to the dugout where the ball's being played at the moment.
And we were talking about it just before, the switch of dugout, so that Lambton, Langlois pops that into the box, hits for Finn at the top of the 18-yard box. Looked like he may have used his upper arm to control, but the referee's happy with it, so we play on. Langlois now pushes it wide. A little heavy in the end, and Griffiths can't reel it in. And I was going to say, it's interesting because for ever and a day, Maitland's dugout has been in front of the camera position, which is the other side of that dugout, as you said, is the old boys. But they've switched that around this year, so the away team setting up there. So I'm sure there's lots of constructive feedback from the old boys who are certainly warm, might be the nicest word for it.
Sure, I think I see a mic in there as well. They're definitely revved up. A couple of cans for the Saturday Arvo football. It's
great to see a bit of crowd, a bit of atmosphere happening considering the weather. It would have been easy to stay at home and just listen to and watch the game on YouTube, as many are. And the ball pushed down the line and a little too wide from Power O'Toole.
There's no doubt both clubs are looking to exploit the width of this field. You know, Maitland heading down that left flank, and Lockie Griffiths for Lambton has been seeing a lot more ball. That's definitely the intention.
Lennon, Butchard and Jackson working the ball through. A defensive unit of 3. Raftery working forward now. Ball hit well, but just a little bit of loss of footing there. Might be the first sign of the surface being a challenge in certain patches. Again, Power O'Toole, he's been busy. He's covered plenty of metres in the opening exchanges. Ball hit long. Not sure whether Archie Finn might have thought he was offside there and just pulled up. Or realised it was overhit. In the meantime, Jordan Jackson plays it wide now for Jordan Lennon. There's McFarlane, sends it wide. Plenty of space on that right flank. Tried to play it into the box and misdirected. Appeared to be looking for Isaac Collins, but was well out in front of him, and Ben Kennedy happy to just let that run away to the byline before he picks it up and draws Braden Crowley in.
Yeah, positive signs for Maitland, and again, it's that man McFarlane on the ball. Looking out for the switch ball and trying to exploit that width as well. Outside of Tommy Waller and Sam Donnellan, who have both got heavy legs, playing 90 minutes last weekend and through the week for their Australia Cup game.
Looking to thread the ball now was Donnellan, looking for Newton. Does well to win that out, plays it back. McNaughton's there. He'll connect with Topor Stanley. Topor Stanley lofts it. Well in his wheelhouse to play those balls forward and get it in behind that defensive line for a Newton or the light racing forward. Donnellan now for Newton. Donnellan beats one. Plays it through for Finn. All right. Toole comes away. Now they play it down the line. Crowley almost snuck through and took that from in front of Langlois, but couldn't connect. And they go down the line again, Donnellan. Both sides defending nice and tight, making it hard for ball progression. Langlois looking for a runner. Offers none. Drops it back to the veteran in Topor Stanley. Now they go wide to Waller.
It's a good little passage from Jaffas here, but Maitland locking it up very well.
It's interesting to see both teams really trying to tighten those screws. Maitland's defensive unit. Midfield was a long-range shot. McNaughton decided there was no way through, so he'd try and go over. Not too far away, but doesn't quite threaten trot.
Yeah, why not from the old boy? It's a good shot, Riley McNaughton, and I mean, they're not going to put pressure on that there. He's going to keep shooting every day.
So it's going to be dangerous if Riley starts getting a couple of sniffs, because the men next to him will then start getting excited too, and he might start taking them. And we know that Topor, I'm sure he's, I think we've talked about it before, Matty. I think he's watched that YouTube highlight of that goal that he scored from the Jets for, just shy of halfway, many a time. Interesting, as we touched on, both teams, quite a few names from their squad not in action today. Suspension, injuries, lots of things starting to take their toll at the midway point, and we are despite, I guess, the washout games to catch up. Round 11 does represent the midway point of the regular season. Both these sides sitting outside the top 5, which is not where they would have wanted to be at this point. We'll know how crucial this game is as McFarlane ranges through the middle, drops it back for Power O'Toole.
Yeah, just on that, Chris, you know, probably leading into the competition, you'd expect both of these clubs to be sitting in the top 6 at this point of the season. You know, there's writing on the wall for both of these clubs with high expectations, considering, you know, off-season signings and coaching staff, etc. Plenty of movement, plenty of new faces. But if you know anything about sport and football, it also comes with patience and time. You have to build these relationships and chemistry across the pitch, and it doesn't happen overnight. Both teams need to start picking up points and momentum. You know, if they want any chance of being in the 6, but also the B-League potential as well. You know, Broadmeadow and Edgeworth, who are sitting comfortable at the top of the league right now. It's going to be an exciting game to look out for next week.
Certainly is. It'll be our match of the round. Again, weather permitting, because we've been adjusted the last 2 weeks, but hopefully we can get a little bit of dry weather and get some more football on. As I pointed out to someone in conversation earlier today, the good news about having had all this rain and the washouts means we've got lots of midweek football coming, which means that you've got lots of excuses to turn the TV on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night over the next few weeks, I think, and tune into Northern New South Wales' YouTube and enjoy some top-class football action, and then throw in some, you know, round 6 of the Australia Cup to come and lots more. It's going to be a pretty busy schedule for a lot of boys and the women as well, with some of their competitions over the next month or two. Now Denellen sets with the throw. Opportunity here, just sat up there for a moment. It looked like Graham might have had a chance, but cleared.
It's a good little battle there, Archie Finn and Geordie Lennon. Actually both played a bit of Jets youth team football a couple of years back together. You know, friendship rivalry today, but both big bodies, and we've already seen a couple of instances where we're going to see a good competition between those two.
There's some good competition across the pitch, and certainly there's a few familiar faces from days in Jets Academy and even some of the school sides that some of these guys have played in. So you like it, I guess, and you would have seen some of this in your time, Butts, is the opportunity to come up against you know, old teammates, old friends. It's even better to get some bragging rights as well as 3 points.
Yeah, of course. No, it's exciting, and you know, it's all in good spirit and good fun. But
well defended there.
Good read. There was a chance there, but caught out by Sam Denellen. He's got plenty of touches on the ball to start this game as well.
So we've seen a lot of ball down the what you might call the crowd side here at Cook Square Park, where the grandstands are, and both Denellen and Power O'Toole have been in the thick of it quite a lot. Charlie Cox there, a bit of manhandling on young Oscar Krakenthorpe. Just trying to recollect, going back through the games that Lambton have played this year. Is this Oscar's first start for the season? Yeah, I believe so. He's, you know, been training well and working hard, and he had a short spell last week against Cooks Hill. And look, Tanjevsky's rewarded him today, just with a few bodies and obviously suspensions, like you said, out. You know, he's earned his start and will look to keep that spot with a good result today. Wallen now goes the long throw. Lofted forward there, and Collins thought he was a chance for a moment, but Ben Kennedy raced out at the top of the 18-yard box and easily retrieves that. Talking about it before, certainly plenty of experience at either end of the pitch here with the two goalkeepers between not only their A-League time, but you know, Ben Kennedy at the ripe age of 38 and Matt Trott similarly 39, turns 40 later this year. So both of them have seen plenty of football. Trotty obviously spent his time with the Mariners, then some time over in the UK, and now
I think we've got an injury here, Ben Kennedy.
We have got Ben Kennedy after I just talked about that.
Just clutching at his right knee. Doesn't seem to be feeling good at all. Good to see a change here. Pandel.
So some serious concerns straight away from the bench. David Hanchevsky, calm and composed as ever, just calls in a few of the boys for a bit of a conversation about how to better execute at the top end of the field. As I say about the commentator's curse, geez, if you're Matt Trott, you might want to be a bit cautious now.
Yeah, of course, you've got one down, one to go. But, yeah, look, back onto that, you're talking about experience between the sticks and two quality keepers. Ben Kennedy doesn't look good at all, unfortunately.
Takes a bit for BK too. He's not one to, he's played through a lot of knocks and niggles in his career, and that was very innocuous, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't see any moment that would have triggered that at all.
He just sort of trotted out to retrieve that ball, and
yeah, really strange. Pandel will be warming up and no doubt hopping straight into the action.
Getting the board ready.
His first league minutes for Lambton this year.
Opportunities come at the right time for some people, and you just got to take the most of it. Jack Pandel.
Especially as a keeper, right?
I always say it's one of the hardest jobs, being a backup keeper. Like, it's probably a little bit different at this level, but when you go to that next level, at the A-League level, and you can spend a whole season not seeing any game time, sitting on the bench, travelling with the team, going through everything. And again, the interesting thing, and we saw it with Noah James and Ryan Scott, as it's confirmed, Pandel comes on. You're also kind of the training partner and kind of, the one who best understands the other guy and the job he's doing. So you've kind of got to be really close, but at the same time, you only tend to get an opportunity when either they're not having a good run, which very rarely happens in the career of a man like Ben Kennedy, or something like this happens, and hopefully it is just a niggle and, bit of workload that's a bit much. But Pandel gets his opportunity, and maybe we'll see the best from the youngster. As I said, there's about 17 years between them in age, so...
One thing I do know about Pandel is he won't take long to warm up at all. Very confident goalkeeper and very good with his feet, so... a half chance here for Maitland as they break away.
Certainly is. Raftery down towards the box. Riley McNaughton grabs him from behind just outside the box. Speaking of using your experience.
No card.
No card at all. And
Riley's got away with that one. Professional foul of some sort. Definitely Maitland were in for a red-hot chance there. If that wasn't...
Hayden Raftery will be a little frustrated there, but it's the man McFarlane that'll step over this one. As he said, he's come from Central Coast United this year after 7 years at the club down there.
You think it'd be shooting range for Daniel here?
So just outside the 18-yard box.
Would be Pandel's first test.
First opportunity. Takes a strike. Pandel parries it well. Read that like a book. Did Pandel, and just pushes it wide across the sideline and stands up to his first test nicely. He comes back.
There's that battle again.
Archie Finn just absolutely clatters into Jordan Jackson. He came off on the worst side of that, but that was beautiful work from Archie Finn, just turning his body to shut that down. Now, Maitland will take the throw, looking for Crowley. Headed forward, Graham pushes it in. The referee has to dodge and weave to get away from that. Set out in front of Krakenthorpe. He'll look to get to the outside. A good sliding tackle comes in underneath. Now Cox lofts it forward. I'm not quite sure who he's intending that for, because Collins had turned towards the sideline.
Yeah, nothing doing there from Cox, but you'd have to say it's a pretty evenly poised game thus far. Both teams with minimal chances on goal. It's a pretty poor release there from Pandel. Just trickling over the sideline. But yeah, look, very evenly poised game thus far. Minimal chances, but good football being played. And as I said earlier, they're trying to exploit the width on both sides. The ball is rolling really nice considering the weather we've had this week and the games prior.
It's certainly been some really good patches and pieces setting up for both sides. The good news, if you're a Jaffas fan, is that Ben Kennedy's got a bit of a smile on his face. The bad news is he's clearly hobbling as he comes out of the bench.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one to tell.
As we said, hopefully nothing too serious. If I need to talk to anyone about joint injuries and bumps and bruises and how frustrating they can be, we're talking about them off air pre-game. You're in the perfect position to know that sometimes it can feel absolutely terrible and it's not much. Then other times the first bit feels innocuous and it can be something much, much more serious. So
yeah, of course. I think my first instinct was I was going to be back 2 weeks later to play against Charlestown. Little did I know it might be 18 months.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. There's, I think, opportunity here for Graham. Trott comes out of his box and clears that well. Just read it and picks it off the boots of Graham. Newton goes the long throw. McFarlane, though, reads it well. Threads it down. Nice ball for Crowley. Beautiful touch. Now O'Toole sends Raftery clear down the left, but McNaughton's going to try and shepherd it across the line. Does well. I thought the assistant referee wasn't going to put his flag up then, but he's just taking his time.
Yeah, well defended from Riley McNaughton, and it was a sweet little touch just at the halfway line here from Crowley, and he's had minimal touches this game, but that's the class that he can provide. Come and retrieve the ball, lay it off, and then make that second movement.
It was nice movement all in all from Crowley, and then, as you say, for Crowley, and then after that it was on to Power O'Toole, who just got that ball down the line looking for the open man. It shows on that quick transition how dangerous Maitland can be. Now Raftery does well to get it back in for McFarlane. Nice touch to cut it away from two. Gets it into the top of the box with Power O'Toole. McNaughton just can't quite break it up in the direction he wants, so they will have a corner here.
Yeah, important touch there from Riley, but positive play down the left flank from Maitland. They've got a corner.
Another challenge for Pandel. Now Raftery puts it at the top of the box, and again the man that's there is McNaughton. Now they go ranging forward. Griffiths threads it into the box, looking for Lockie Graham. He's brought to ground with an arm around him, is he? No, says the referee. That was one of those ones when you look at it from a distance, it probably could have gone either way. The referee errs on the side of the defensive unit.
I think he had his whistle in his mouth, but nothing doing, says the referee.
I was going to say, I'm reluctant to ask you, mate. You got the Jaffas jacket on and all in the commentary box. So
that's okay. I'm just biting my lip on that one. No, look, I didn't think there was much in there, to be honest. I think it's a fair call. To
be fair, he's a lot closer than we are.
Yeah,
and I'll always give the referee the benefit of the doubt while he's closer. The day that he's further away than us, well, then we've got bigger problems.
Of course.
There's a little bit of a clattering challenge there from Tom Waller, I think. And Maitland will have dead ball opportunity just over halfway, and they decide to play it all the way back. Cox back to Jackson. Both sides have had a few chances that just haven't quite fully developed. They thread the ball now, looking for Crowley, and it was overhit. Meanwhile, Power O'Toole looked like he got sniped on the other side of the field, so there's a few little bits of slippery footing. Ball threaded out now. Graham looking to use his pace. Trott treading back. Lennon getting to the ball. Does well. Lennon and Graham going toe-to-toe there. Plays it across for Jackson. Now Finn tries to close down the space.
Yeah, well played from Lennon there. Good little battle. Lockie Graham and Geordie Lennon. Tidy ball from Sam Donnellan, and again trying to expose. Might be a half chance here, Crackers.
Drops it back. Langlois. Waller. Topor Stanley. Had a lot of involvement in the last few minutes, Topor. Goes on a little bit of a run. Drives it back to Pandel. Crowley's going to try and put pressure on him, but he's nice and composed. Gets it there to Langlois. Waller with a bit of a hack forward. Finn trying to leap his outlet by Jackson. Crackenthorpe does well. Nice touch to beat Cox. And Griffiths, he was dispossessed, but it sat nicely for him. He beats another. Then he's just manhandled. Oh, it might have been shoulder to shoulder, but I'm sure Lockie Griffiths will say that the referee's absolutely got that one right.
Yeah, no doubt. And looks like Joey Langlois is going to step over this free kick, and it's a good opportunity. I think you're looking at the 6-yard back stick area right now. Try and get some tall timber on the end of this.
I'm going to say, is Archie Finn the man the way he's setting up there if he can get the run through? Topor Stanley just allowing everyone to wait on him as he gets into position.
Maitland got all players back at the moment, not taking any risk on the set piece.
Holding a high line. There it is, put to the back post, overhit McNaughton, drops it into the box. But no, yellow jerseys there, and they clear it wide and long to Maitland, and it's going to force Pandel to come out of his box. I'll tell you what, it's not normally a strength of goalkeepers in terms of how they cover distance, but he looks like he can move, does Jack Pandel, across the ground as well.
Oh, yeah, he's fit. He's good with his feet. Like I said earlier, it won't take much to get him into the game.
Krakenthorpe and Power O'Toole. Power O'Toole, nice touch back inside for McFarlane. McFarlane slides in to maintain possession. Cox dropping it back. There's certainly plenty of willing contact and people prepared to throw their body over the ball. And that's back Smale. They'll work it back through the defensive unit. Lennon feeds it wide. Power O'Toole cuts inside. Looks to beat Denellen. Bamboozles himself in the end, and Denellen comes away with it. Now Newton. He's had a lot of chances to get involved in recent exchanges, Bailey Newton.
Considering current form for both clubs and the position they sit at the moment, Chris, as we're heading into the midway point of the season.
Ball threaded forward.
You see these two clubs playing finals football?
I think the way the ladder's made up at the moment, only one of these two clubs can play finals football. And that's not saying that it's one or the other that I'm predicting to do so. I just don't see both of these sides pushing their way into the top five, because that would mean that two of the sides are in there, plus maybe another, because there's quite a pack all chasing. As now Bailey Newton gets forward. We'll come back to that conversation. Newton looking for an angle. Pulls back. Threads it nicely. Langlois threads it nice for Krakenthorpe. A little careless from Oscar with his challenge there. Denellen tries to feed into the box. Almost sat nicely for Finn. They're looking a little threatening here, the Jaffas. Topple Stanley comes across and closes that one down for the time being. Lockie Graham. Norton. I feel there's something ready to break out here. Graham dispossessed by his opposite number, McFarlane. He's got Raftery wide if he can find him. He does. Place it out in front. Raftery versus Denellen. Cuts back against the grain. Undoes him there into the box. Looking for a teammate. Cleared away Langlois. And it will go for a throw-in.
Positive signs from Maitland there.
Certainly is. They look like when they get into that bit of flow, they just all of a sudden everything starts to click when they're just sort of stationary and not on the move and trying to create and force passes. It doesn't look as great. They can get into some free-flowing football and take it from their own half and start to transition it. Looks ominous. Now crossed into the box. Waller gets forward, gets ahead to it. Smale now. Connects with his former Central Coast United teammate McFarlane. Fizzes it past the left post. Again, just looking for that opening. Wasn't far away. Topple Stanley going to take the goal kick, is he? No, decides better of it. Does he? Just going to roll it out in front of Pandel. Again, just a little... I wonder if that's just a little nerve, just overhit that. It's an opportunity for Maitland. Yeah, Maitland work it back to Jackson. Smale again. The backs get busy and get forward for Maitland. They pop this one into the box. It just is left for everyone. Everyone watches that. Bailey Newton gets clattered into the back of. Yeah, just back to that piece we were talking about before in terms of both, the opportunity for both these sides to come to the top five, especially the fact Western have beaten Valentine today, so they go to 19 points. Realistically, I don't see any of those top three sides dropping out unless something very catastrophic happens at their clubs at the midway point of the season. So that would then mean that you've got Charlestown Azzurri, Newcastle Olympic, Lambton, probably Cooks Hill, and Maitland if they can make a run, all fighting for those last two spots. So I know Azzurri have had some stumbles in recent weeks, and Olympic had a bit of a bump last week, but seeing them completely drift out would be a little bit surprising. And when you have a look at it for Maitland, they've still got, 5 points to close up on that pack, realistically. 6 points, sorry, to close up on that pack, which is not insignificant. Pandel with a little bit of fancy footwork.
There's that footwork I was talking about.
Exactly as you sold us, Matt Butner. I didn't realise you brought the fan club, mate.
Yeah, just a couple of them.
Just a couple of them. I
Just
like
a
it.
couple.
Clattering challenge there, right in front of the old boys by Tay Power O'Toole, and he's resumed that battle. He and Ellen have been at each other. I didn't know better. I think there was some sort of grudge there between these two. There's no love lost at the moment, Matt.
Everything's still civil and in good spirit at the moment.
Good physical challenge in front of the old boys, though, is a good way to get yourself a few free drinks later if you get 3 points.
Oh, of course. Yeah, these boys are up for it. And in good numbers, like we said earlier. Yeah, they're loving it.
Great to see. Adds a bit of atmosphere, a bit of spice.
No doubt. Let's see what Bailey Newton can whip up at the moment. Another good delivery is very important.
I was going to say pinpoint on the back post last time. Pinpoint there again and again. Trot just comes out. And all you see is the two gloves shoot out of the pack, and he snares that.
Yeah, confident take from the keeper. And he's a tall keeper, right?
And you can tell he's just so comfortable with his craft, right? Like he doesn't, there's no rush, there's nothing else. He doesn't need to do anything too acrobatic, just comes out, puts the big mitts up. Yeah, Raftery with some nice footwork to beat one. Cuts back infield, McFarlane, he'll take a shot. Deflected, Pandel gets probably a bit of good fortune rather than good management, but they all count the same as he deflects that off his right hip. McFarlane looks dangerous from range.
Yeah, his technique's immaculate in everything he does. He's definitely a threat for Maitland.
Interesting, just the fizz that he's getting on that ball when he's hitting it. Bit of movement through the air, make it hard, as young Pandel probably undoubtedly and completely expectedly there'd be a few nerves there.
Yeah, of course.
He's been up to everything so far. Power O'Toole now with the throw.
We're approaching that half-time mark, and it's so important. You see in football all the time. Fatigue kicking in, lack of concentration, switch off. Could see a goal just before half-time here. We'll see how this breaks out.
So often you see them deep in the half or in stoppage time, as you say. Now Waller looking to go back to top or Stanley. Crowley tracking back to try and close some avenues. They place it well. Finn does well to put it in front of Griffiths. He's into the box. Can he beat Trot? Just pokes it off target. I thought he'd got that perfectly, just popped in there, but he hit the outstretched arm of Trot, and it scuffs away, and it'll be a corner in the southeastern corner of Cook Square Park late in this first half.
Yeah, the pressure's brewing, and the chances are coming now. Thick and fast corners. Again, set pieces a threat for Jaffas. Let's see what they can whip up here.
Langlois. It's it high, headed away by McFarlane. Denellen just decides to loft it back in. Tobble Stanley gets acrobatic. Appeals to the referee, and the referee's having none of it. Now McNaughton whipping back to try and shut things down, but they put it out in front of Raftery. Can he beat the ball to the byline? He's pulling up. Does well. Cuts across Denellen now. Denellen, calm and composed, gets a little touch on it. Tries to appeal for a goal kick, saying he thought it came off Raftery last, but the referee points to another corner, and feels like only a few seconds ago we were literally in the exact diagonally opposite corner.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and you can see this game starting to open up now, and it's a good little battle on this left flank here.
Some young guns with plenty of pace behind them, just absolutely having a crack. It's great to see, and it's what we like. McFarlane over the corner. Sends away the short man, drives it into the box. Newton gets a little touch on it. Graham can't clear it. Tobble Stanley prods it out in front of Griffiths now. Griffiths in a foot race with Butchard. Pokes it forward. He might have overhit it. Has he? No. He's 1-on-2 though. He's waiting for support. Cuts back, beats Smart. I was going to say he beat Smale, but Smale came again and just parried it. And now we're back to the opposite corner again. You've heard of end-to-end football. This is corner-to-corner football.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, positive play from Griffo there. He's looking electric on that left wing. And it's a good result, considering he was on the other side of a 2v1. It's another corner. Feels like we're on repeat at the moment, Chris.
Just looks confident from him too. Like that confidence to put it out in front, back yourself. He realised he didn't have a lot of options with him, and then took the time to hold it up as they loft this one up. Get right underneath it. Sits back deep. Newton tries to take a shot across the face. Well blocked. McNaughton now. A little step over. Plays it into the legs of Smale, who's pushed across to the opposite side.
topper in the box. It looks like a long throw-in from Jaffas here as we approach half-time. Trying to get anything on it.
Norton takes the long throw. Exactly where it lands. Into the box, but to a Maitland advantage. Now from McNaughton. Slice into the box. Almost spins nicely for Topple Stanley, but trots out to it and then sends him on a quick counter-attack. Collins now racing away. Notice Ben Kennedy making his way towards the sheds and ice on the outside of the calf. So hopefully just a little bit of a niggle in the calf. They say that's an old man's injury. No comment, Matty?
No comment. He'll be back. He'll be back quick and smart.
He'll be an expert at recovery, I'm sure, with the amount of games he's got under his belt.
Yeah, no doubt. True professional on and off the field.
But again, with Pandel stepping in, if I'm not mistaken, his first year at the club. He was at Broadmeadow last year.
Yeah, correct. They come for an opportunity and a fresh start. It's been really good for the change room on and off the field. And you said it earlier, it's tough as a goalkeeper when you're second, right? But you have to be prepared for the opportunity, and when it comes, be ready.
Krakenthorpe pokes it wide now for Newton, the danger man. He pulls up, puts it into the box, and Trot, a calm and confident call, races out and takes it on the full.
Yeah, he had a lot of early touches, Bailey Newton, and hasn't seen much of the ball as the halves progressed. Positive play from Krakenthorpe as well. He's starting to grow into the game. It's been a good battle in the middle there. Just lacking the final execution from both teams at the moment.
Starting to see a few more things open up as legs fatigue a little. As we said, a slightly heavier pitch, midweek football as well. And again, even more so possibly for Maitland, where they hadn't had football for a few weeks. Nice ranging ball out in front of Power O'Toole, but he couldn't quite get there. We head into the final 7 minutes of this first half. Who can land the first dagger blow? Newton. Good vision there. Krakenthorpe now trying to work around Cox. He's dispossessed. McFarlane. Raftery. They just reset and utilise it out of their back line. Maitland again trying to use the width of the pitch. Waller backs it forward, and again Finn does well by just holding his ground. He's got a man outside him, and Card's going to come out here, and it's going to go to Smale, despite the old boys seemingly thinking that might have been a yellow card for Lambton. I'm not sure where they saw that, but maybe that's those extra beers talking.
I think so, and they look an important foul from Smale regardless. You saw Lockie Griffiths making a little breakaway on that left flank as well. See how these yellow cards and fouls. Oh, great turn from Griffo. Chance.
Threads it into the box, and at the back stick, Newton pushes it wide. First chance on his return. He'd love to have it over again. It was inches wide of the right post, and you feel that should have been the Jaffas' first goal.
Yeah, it's a golden opportunity there. Good ball from Griffo. Positive play. Come out of nowhere. Yeah, Bailey Newton would want that chance back again.
I said it before, but Lachlan Griffiths is looking so dangerous, so confident, so sure of himself with the way he's playing at the moment.
Yeah, you love seeing your wingers playing with confidence, and Griffo was lacking a little bit of it at the start of the season. New club, new faces. Had to break into the squad, but yeah, he's looking on fire today. Really causing some threats on that left flank. It's probably our best chance of the game, no doubt. Going to the Jaffas. Maitland definitely dodged a bullet there. Could have been 1-0 down easily.
Yeah, you could see the relief wash over Matt Trott's face. He knew he was beaten at that back post as Butchard is beaten and taken away. Newton threads it wide for Finn out on the right. Finn dispossessed by Lennon, who clears it over the dugout.
Now, that's one thing you'll get with Archie Finn. He's not blessed technically, but he's going to battle for 90 minutes. He's going to get in the head of the defender as well, and he's had a good win in the middle of the field against McFarlane there. A little bit of contact coming into the game now as we creep into that halfway mark. Here's a battle. Crowley's away.
Braden Crowley into the 18-yard box. McNaughton. Crowley ended up back-heeling it, not intentionally. Spins away. Cox comes racing forward. Gets a strong header to Nellen. tries to clear it, but just sends it laterally. And pulls up now for Butchard, and he'll drop it back to Smale. Back down the line, returns it to Butchard. He cuts in field. Feeds a nice ball. They attempt the extra touch on, but there was no one there for it. Now Newton with a bit of space. He travels, he cuts infield, looking for a teammate to work with. He finds the man at the moment, does he? In Griffiths. Griffiths takes a shot himself, and who can blame him the way he's been hitting passes at the moment?
Yeah, why not? The opportunity presented itself, and they were outnumbered, the Jaffas there. Quick breakaway, and you almost feel like a goal in transition for both clubs is brewing. It's definitely the intention at the moment if you can hit them fast and early. There's speed on both sides of the field at the top.
Certainly is opportunity on the break, you have to think, from what we've seen so far. Newton plays it back infield. Langlois switches it across looking for Griffiths, but undercooks the line and it goes across the sideline.
Yeah, Joey would have wanted that moment back again. He's been a little bit quiet this first half. He's been a machine for the Jaffas this year, coming across from Olympic. Again, chance here, little battle. Crowley will stay in.
Too quick for Crowley, I think.
The ball's definitely running on this field tonight. It's like the drainage holds up unbelievable at Cook Square.
Yeah, as we were talking about off air before, it's hard to fathom that they had washed out games here only a couple of weeks ago. And obviously whatever they've done since then to continue to maintain the field. They had women's games here last week when many other fixtures were called off, and again to get the men's on this week when some other games haven't gone ahead.
That man in form, Matty Cahill, just getting instructions from the boss. Will we see him in action in the second half? 3 goals in the last 7 days. He hadn't scored a goal this season before last weekend against Cooks Hill. So no doubt he's going to play a part in this game in the second half.
Speaking of Cooks Hill, they have just wrapped up their game against... I'm looking at the wrong scoreboard here. I'll just try and find that. It's just closing out against Broadmeadow Magic. We're just trying to get a live score for it. Joys of technology when it cooperates, but for the time being, Maitland see off another threat. Lennon pushes it wide. Smale feeds it nicely for Crowley. What a turn there. He's got Raftery with him if he can find him. Going to try and put the ball out to his advantage, but McNaughton again. Calm, composed. Pandel calls for the pass back, and that's exactly where he goes. He'll slow it up and feed it wide. Langlois does well to reel that in. Newton runs to him, looking for the pass. He thinks better of it. Lays it off to Finn. Finn, who's collected from behind, and gets another foul.
It's been some really good individual battles across the pitch. Really impressed with that movement there from Matt Smale. Just composed. You can see, he's got a bit of history in the academy football. 1 minute of extra time by the looks of it from the fourth official.
Not long. Can Lambton find something here quickly? That would be some turn of events if they could just grab one in the shadows of half-time. Langlois puts it into the box. Trott gets a hand to it. Does well. Again, just calmly watch that. Finn didn't quite know where it had gone. I think he just assumed that Trott had come out and grabbed it above his shoulder.
Yeah, Trott's come all the way out to the edge of the 18 there to claim that. He's got a bit of confidence about his game, especially with the high ball as well. He's so tall. That's such a feature of his goalkeeping ability. Here we go. Here's a chance.
Newton on the run. Again, speaking of coming out of the box, Matt Trott, calm, composed, into the raptures of the old boys in the shadows of half-time. Got 2 balls on the pitch here. I think that might have been the old boys throwing one on.
Bailey's got a chance.
Newton here. The referee's going to let it go on. Joe Langlois clears that ball, but the parried effort doesn't go anywhere near the goal, and that will take us to half-time. It's been an interesting exchange so far. It hasn't been completely polished from either side in the first 45 at Cook Square Park, and neither side able to capitalise. While chances have been there, the finishers haven't quite. and it's 0-0 the score, but plenty still simmering away here, Matt Butner.
Yeah, it's been a good battle, and as to be expected, I didn't think there was going to be a whole lot of goals in the first half. If you wind back the clock, this time last year, the last time these two teams played at Cook Square was actually 0-0 as well. First half was, a good performance between both teams, and
That's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good. Ah, yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good.
Welcome back to Cooks Square Park for the match of the round, second half. Round 11 of the Northern New South Wales NPL. The Lambton Jaffas are on the road away to Maitland FC. And despite some enthralling football in the first 45 minutes, it remains deadlocked at 0-0. And a little bit of everything going on throughout the first half. We saw some shots on target, some thrilling and physical contests. And we saw a change in the net with an injury to Ben Kennedy, which saw Jack Pandell come on. Speaking of changes, I think we're going to see Matt Cale come on at half-time as well. And I'm joined by Lambton FC's Matt Butner. Matt, we talked about that first half. There's a little bit of everything there. A man who can create a lot of everything is Matt Cahill. We've seen what he done over the last 7 days. Maybe he'll add to that tally. And that still sits actually within the 7 days because it was Sunday last week. Could he make it maybe, 4 or 5? I'm sure that'd make you a happy man.
Yeah, of course. And he's a great player with a lot of potential to score goals. He hasn't found the net that much this season, unfortunately. But, yeah, you talk about form, and he's definitely one who has it right now.
So Archie Finn, the man to make way.
It looks like it. And, yeah, look, expect a fiery affair this second half. Again, both teams really searching for 3 points. So important at this time of the season.
Yeah, we were talking about that off air, weren't we, in terms of, for Maitland, if they don't get 3 points here, it starts to create that even more of a gap, especially if Lambton are to walk away with 3 points. For Lambton, 3 points would see them into the top 5. A point would see them sitting equal 4th with 2 other sides. So much on the line as we try and see these teams steer their momentum towards the halfway point of season 2025. And again, not only do we have opportunity on the line for these teams in terms of the NPL season, you touched on it before, the B-League, the Australian Championship. There's a spot up for grabs for Northern New South Wales side as well as Maitland go on this first attack. Threaded out nicely for Raftery. He's been busy. McNaughton gets a bit of a deflection. Krakenthorpe pushes it wide. Bailey Newton drops it back, and nice transition out now for Lambton. Newton cuts infield. Langlois gets away with it. Topple Stanley. Maitland pressing hard here. They get the just desserts there. Crowley into the box. Gets a shot away. Did Pandell get a touch to that? The assistant referee says no. I thought he might have got a fingertip on it. He mustn't have been far away. But wow, what a start to the second half, Matt.
Yeah, that is a golden chance, and that's a threat that he is. And Crowley just hopping on a loose ball there. A little bit sloppy from Roland McNaughton out the back, and got to shake the cobwebs off after the half-time meeting in the sheds. Can't give that man a chance like that. Not a second time at least, otherwise he will pounce on it.
Certainly interesting. It was immediately apparent that Maitland were going to press hard there, and they've come out with some intent about it, and it paid some reward as Crowley and McNaughton get tangled, and now we almost had flashes of last week's game against Cooks Hill. Hang on, it might not be done yet. McNaughton and Crowley. Jackson decides to get himself involved. Young Oscar Krakenthorpe not backing down. The one thing I was going to say at the end of the first half, these referees done really well just to manage the players when there's been moments or physical challenges or both players grabbing onto the jersey. And again, I think he's going to just have a little chat. Here he is, and he's just going to move on with it. There didn't need to be anything done there.
No, he's been officiating the game really well thus far, and I mean, as a player, I really appreciate this referee. I think he conducts the game really well.
McFarlane threads it wide, looking for Crowley, and Crowley just not quite quick enough to get there. It wasn't far away.
It's been a positive start from Maitland. Definitely trying to put themselves on the front foot early.
Pandell decides to get things moving. They certainly have turned up the tempo coming out of the change room here. Temperature drops. We're fully under lights in this second half here at Cook Square Park. A twilight kickoff. Always nice at this time of year.
It's Tommy Waller on his bike.
Griffiths trying to create something. Does well to sit it in front of Cahill. Cahill being harangued and harassed. The referee just watching patiently. Now Langlois. Again, they're trying to create something here. Topple Stanley. Decides to just slice it off the inside of the toe over to Riley McNaughton. He drives long looking for Newton, but puts it behind the assistant referee, off target a little for the run.
You're talking about that earlier result off air, Chris, Cooks Hill and Broadmeadow Magic, 0-0 draw.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think it changes a lot, but it does certainly break that run of results. We had the top two sides both with 5 wins on the trot, Edgeworth and Broadmeadow, and it means that Broadmeadow do now, they've pulled level on games played with Edgeworth, sit a point behind, so Edgeworth are our outright leaders, if you will, as the ball to the back post again. Collins for Crowley. Pandel looked like he got a little stranded watching Collins come forward.
That's a wicked ball from Collins there.
Braden Crowley very early in the second half had a couple of half sniffs, and I'll tell you what, he doesn't let a lot of those slip.
There's no doubt Adam Hughes would have revved them up at home. The old boys are behind them. It's a home game. They need to turn this Cook Square into a fortress.
I'll tell you what, if Braden Crowley gets on the end of one of these, that fence in front of the old boys might be in danger, because they're going to absolutely let loose, I think, with excitement. For the time being, though, it's at the other end of the pitch, and it's Jackson feeding it across now. Lennon decides to go down the line. Power O'Toole pushes it forward. He's trying to move the ball around, try and create some spaces through this Jaffas defensive unit.
It's one thing that Maitland have stuck with all year is that 3 at the back. They've stayed consistent with that formation, using the fullbacks as wing-backs almost. And I think at this point of the game now, you can really shift the ball left to right, as you can see. Getting the Jaffas boys moving up front, trying to exploit the width.
Raftery working back now, drops it into that back 3 again. And they're nice and patient at the moment, Maitland. The Jaffas are going to try and wait them out or force them around. And that's the way they go now, cutting through Butchard. Raftery overloads from the left to the right. Trying to turn his defender inside out, plays it all the way back again, and they just go back to reset. Jackson. The old boys aren't as patient as the unit of Maitland moving it through the back.
Yeah, Maitland just enjoying a good spell of possession at the moment.
Ball falls nicely off the boot of Langlois for Raftery. He'll pop it back now. Lennon has a bit of space in front of him, puts it out in front of Power O'Toole. He'll cross it into the box. Pandel gets a punch rather than a catch. Griffiths clears it long, but again, it's just going to sit back into that defensive unit. Might actually beat Jackson and go across for a throw, which is probably, considering the control Maitland have shown, maybe a better result for Lambton for the moment.
Maitland have come out the gates really sharp, exploiting the width, getting a couple of good crosses in left side and right side.
Yeah, whatever Adam Hughes said at the break is certainly working a treat early in this half. Pandel takes that one nicely.
Little push and shove from Crowley and Riley McNaughton. Keep an eye on that little battle as the half plays out. Saw a little tussle as soon as the boys come out of the sheds.
I'm going to say 2 seasoned campaigners at each other, which is, that'll make anyone happy with the price of admission coming in here today, watching those two go toe-to-toe. Have had some wonderful battles throughout the pitch, and no one's just adding some spice at the moment. This ball sits nicely. Lockie Graham now back to Langlois. Pushes it wide for Denellen. He returns the favour. Now Lambton, they try and pull the trigger quickly out in front of Griffith. And a little touch on it, and it'll go for a corner. Getting very animated down in the old boys here. Might be time to wind back the bar to mid-strength. Boys are loving their football.
Ted Jeffke just asking if you can hear it on the mic. You definitely can. Yeah, these boys are animated.
He sounds like he's enjoying it. It certainly adds a bit of atmosphere and theatre to the game, which is nice. That one dropped a little short from Langlois and just seen away at the front post by Jackson. Tobble Stanley, I'm not quite sure what happened there. He lunged early and missed everything. And he was very unimpressed with himself there after he... A little sluggish coming back. Actually, Topple Stanley might just keep an eye on him. After he beats Waller to the outside, gets along again, and then Topple Stanley finally tracks back and parks himself in the right spot as he's so wont to do.
Yeah, one player that has impressed me today, Raftery, but also last season as well for Valentine. It's one of Adam Hughes' boys that he's brung over. Really tidy with his feet.
Certainly is. Butchard now, and there he is again, Raftery, and he pops up in so many different plays. He's got a bit of a free licence, it appears. Now Griffiths, Newton making a run, and that's where he feeds it. Came close to scoring in the first half. It'll be a welcome return to the yellow and black of Lambton if he could get on the score sheet tonight in his first game back in his club's colours. Dunellen looking for Matt Cahill, and again, goalkeeper Matt Trott right out to the top corner of his box. Certainly happy to adventure away from his goal line, Matt Trott. We've seen plenty of that, and he's done it with aplomb so far tonight. Now a ball looking for Crowley. McNaughton herds him back. This one threaded out now looking for Raftery, but it'll outpace him and trickle away to the fence. Just really showing intent and tone, Maitland. Continuing to try and press the, I guess you'd probably call it a momentum advantage at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt. I think they've come out the more positive side in the second half. Not that Jaffas have been flat by any means, but definitely more enthusiastic at the moment, trying to cage in the Jaffas.
Jaffas now with a throw. Waller. He's one of those two players that came off on Wednesday night with a bit of heavy legs, it probably looked like, and there's a few that were concerned it might have been a little more, as Matt Cahill, not quite sure that's what he was intending to do. I think it came off the knee a little bit more, but it nearly turned out well for them. And who's going to be the player to break this one open? Topol Stanley gets the head forward. Jackson breaks it up. No surprises as they make a ranging run that it's Raftery again. Up against Dunellen. Dunellen's been busy today. Raftery gets a nice ball out in front of Power O'Toole. Power O'Toole cuts back. Threads it through the legs, but the defence is up to it. They take it away. Now Graham. He's got Newton, Cahill, and Griffiths racing down. Trott again outside of his box. He's happy to come for a meander downfield, is Matt Trott, and deal with things. Very calm and confident in his own ability. Langlois being harangued, feeds it out to Dunellen and gets the ball back. Plenty of positive signs early in this half for both sides. They're managing to string together some possession a lot better. The ball lofted forward now, looking for Crowley. Topol Stanley up against him. Doesn't quite get hold of the clearance, but here McNaughton work it back there. Now in the corner. Crowley trying to hedge his bets, and Topol Stanley will take him on the outside and chip it down the line, looking for Graham. Topol Stanley, nice little 1-2, and he's going to keep ranging down.
Yeah,
Topol Stanley going looking for a goal. Matt Cahill. I was going to say, Jackson will try and appeal that, but when you put both arms around a player's waist, it's very rare if he goes to ground, the decision's going to go with you.
Yeah, definitely, and a really positive play there, breaking out from the back. It looked like they were stuck in the corner. Topol Stanley showing all his class. A couple little 1-2s on the flank. Got a little bit excited as well, Chris.
Oh, I thought he was going to just 1-2 all his way down the edge and then try and bang one from the top of the 18-yard box.
Sure he was asking Matty Cahill for the return then.
I'll tell you what, I think you can see all of a sudden he's tried to turn the tempo up after he missed that tackle before. He's not one that likes to come off second best, so he'll have a point to prove as Lambton into the box and appeal for a penalty, but the referee waves that away and again continues to let things go. Now Langlois on the ball. Puts it down. Graham gets free, takes a shot from range, pushes it to the right. Again, Trott nice and watchful at the near post.
He's going to be hard to beat tonight, Trott. Filled with confidence at the moment.
He just looks so relaxed. It's like, yeah, nothing's perturbing him at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Good little turn there from Graham, though, just to get the half shot away. And, you know, we saw that with Archie Finn in the first half, using his body to his advantage. Lockie Graham doesn't have that presence, but he definitely has that technical ability.
Trott now drives it long and wide, and Waller will watch this one across right on halfway. Just saw the subs for Maitland head past us and go for a while. It'll be interesting to see if Adam Hughes at some point tries to inject a little bit of life from the bench. And likewise, we've seen Lambton once through forced change and once an opted change at half-time go to their bench. And I wonder whether that change for Cahill actually came a little bit earlier purely because David Tanchevsky's aware of his limits on rotation and wants to keep his options open a bit, I guess.
Yeah, potentially. I think Archie had a great first half, to be honest. I think he was a great utilisation for the Jaffas. And again, he poses a different threat. Matty Cahill's definitely a different player.
Very, very different styles, but both equally as dangerous up front. And as you said, yeah, Finn had been good in the first half, and that's to that point probably what made me question that is balls exchanged either way in midfield. There's obviously a limit of that 3 rotations, which is the challenge, right? So you can 5 subs in total, 3 rotations, but a change at half time. While it counts towards the 5 subs, doesn't count towards the rotations. Can be a little confusing with the way that's applied. Essentially, that means you can make subs at 3 times during the game for a total of 5 players. But you can also make changes at half time, which doesn't count towards those 3 times that you're stopping the game for subs.
It's a good ball from Griffo out to Krakenthorpe, and good feet.
He's looked really good in close quarters as Krakenthorpe steps across another one. Cuts infield, drops it back, not quite on target. Langlois takes a shot from range just over the crossbar. That one had Matt Trott a little nervy.
Yeah, good little switch play left to right there. Krakenthorpe, fast feet, dished it off to Joey Langlois, and shots out the box might be a good option at the moment. It's hard to break down both sides. Inside the box, really compact, the back lines.
Those feet from Oscar Krakenthorpe a couple of times now. He's got a pretty high rate of beating that first man at least. That's a nice ball. Crowley brings it down. Can't quite control it. McNaughton, the 1-2 with Langlois, ranging forward. He's seen Topor do it. He decides he'll do it better. Now it falls out to Lockie Graham. Shoulder to shoulder. The ball's still in the field. Yes, play on. Hard to see that byline down in the deep corner. I'm going to come back for the challenge.
You talk about subs as well, Chris, and the importance of it in this game. You know, we said both teams had an Australia Cup game midweek, and you know, there's plenty of fresh bodies, especially for Maitland on the bench. Adam Hughes hasn't utilised any of his players yet. You know, as this game crawls closer and closer to the 90th minute, if it remains 0-0, I think it'd be up to the coaches to make some tactical adjustments, which could play a massive factor in the result.
Certainly does. Considerations too for those catch-up games. I know Maitland have got another game this week. They're going to play down at Blacksmiths on Wednesday night. So catch-up game from last round. It's starting to become quite a workload, especially when those players hadn't played for a bit, as Collins tries to pop that into the box, but finds Power O'Toole, and at first that looked like that had rattled inside the top netting. And it was just off target. Pandel watching it away. And the old boys a little false cheer there for a moment. It almost sold me as well.
I think they believed it went in. Just the wrong side of the post, but yeah, look, it looked like the cross had nothing doing, and we had the Maitland fullback, I believe, maybe the winger, at the back stick unmarked, and he had that a great chance. Tested Pandel near post, and again, it's only a matter of time now.
Certainly
for
is,
one of these teams.
I was going to say, and that's the thing. It's not that it's only a matter of time for Maitland. It just feels a matter of time for someone, and you almost feel it's one of those games. I don't know whether it's just me reading it this way, Matt, but one goal could bring 3 or 4. Like we could end up a 3-2 or something if this breaks soon. It's just one of those games. Butchard, he hasn't had a lot of opportunity. Down the right, feeds it in nicely. Collins, he's been dangerous around the box now. Braden Crowley plays it into the legs of McNaughton, and McNaughton races after it but can't control it, and it'll go away for a corner. Will this set piece be the moment?
Yeah, I've got that feeling about the game as well. Don't be deceived, the scoreline at the moment. It's definitely been a game of chances.
Certainly has. Both sides have had their share. Who can be the first? McFarlane from range. Curled it away to the left. If he curled that back, it could have been real danger. But again, just the thing that just stands out to me, Daniel McFarlane, every time he's hitting one of those, there's not many players at this level or even at the A-League level that you see that just so often get that fizz, that curl on the ball, so dangerous. That one obviously curled away from the target, but it's an ominous one and it'd be challenging if you're a keeper.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, I said it earlier with Crowley, and I think the same thing applies with McFarlane. You give him 2 or 3 of those opportunities, he's going to take one of them at some point, and that's perfect shooting range for him. He does have one of the best techniques in the league.
Collins again, and he just looks so dangerous. He knows his job is feeding Crowley. Speaking of being fed, he's fed out wide now himself. Crowley loping towards the box. Tom Waller's worn that in the side of the face, and he's down unsurprisingly because that had some heat on it. A little ginger to get to his feet. He's going to tell the referee I'm fine and just shake it off, is he? No, he's Fresh is saying to you to come back onto the field, I think, if you want to keep going.
Yeah, that shook up Tommy Waller a little bit. Lucky his duties are only on the post.
Just stung. It's starting to get quite cool out there. McFarlane gets it forward. The header away, though. Well seen off. McFarlane now feeds it in for Raftery. Nice ball. Beats a couple. McNaughton almost at the back post. Picks it up. It beat almost everyone there. McFarlane slice it wide for Power O'Toole. It's got a bit much heat on it for him as well. McNaughton against Power O'Toole. They're going toe-to-toe, and it's going to go away for a goal kick. And everyone absolutely throwing their all into this at the moment. Keeps heating up here at Cook Square Park as the temperature drops.
Yeah, Maitland just tightening the screws at the moment, causing a little bit of pressure. Look over the last 10 minutes, they've had some really positive plays out on the flank. A couple of shots on target. And a couple of corners as well, like I said. Jaffas elect to play out. Topo Stanley's been a little bit quiet today. Hasn't had as much ball as you'd say Riley McNaughton has had.
McNaughton's been in the thick of plenty. Oh, missed touch there from Smale. It turns out okay. There's been a few of those moments for both teams today where they've turned out better than they probably they deserved. Now they go wide. Lennon feeds it down. Power O'Toole has been in plenty of everything. And here they are, Maitland just settling back into that composed rhythm. It's almost hypnotic when they settle back into it. Charlie Cox, Butchard calling for it. Taken away though, and they go back to Jackson. They'll try and find an avenue around on the left flank. They feed it down now. Power O'Toole. Raftery making another run. He's been busy. Power O'Toole sliced across, feeds it to the other side with Cox. Now Butchard with a little bit of space. Tries to get the outside of Griffiths. Cuts back against him. A nice touch into the box. Thinks about getting a shot away. Langlois, though, is the man there to pick it off at the top of the 18-yard box, and they live to fight another day. Do Lambton.
Slick move down the right flank. Again, it's the final execution that Maitland are missing at the moment. They've got good territory. They're being patient with the ball. I think the positive sign for both clubs at the moment is they're still looking to play out. They're not panicking. They're not playing that long ball game. The pitch allows you to do that here.
Nice ball for Raftery. He gets a step on Denellen. Can he find the angle to cut back inside him? That will be the question. No, Denellen bodies up and pushes a boot in to push it across the sideline.
You mentioned it earlier, Chris, but you know, Rafferty looked like he had that more traditional winger approach in the first half, and seems like he's got a free license this half to roam around left side, right side, through the middle. Seems like he's been a bit
Cox
of a threat.
Spits it across. Butchard, can he take a shot? Can he get one away? Drops it back in. Comes off the boot of Topo Stanley. Riley McNaughton almost a mid-air slice kick. Sees it across the sideline. Maitland are turning the screws here, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. And it's getting vocal here as well. Not sure if that went out for a corner or a throw-in, but
I thought it was a throw, but they're setting up for a corner, so it must have... Well, let's just have a look at what's going on here. Yeah, it is setting up for a corner. McFarlane. He's got a man there. Is it Cox for the short corner? It is.
Yeah, they're banging on the door now, Maitland.
They don't have the height in the box, but Jackson's trying to make a threat of himself. Oh, it almost fell for him perfectly. Very easily to ground there, one of the players in the box. I can't see. I think it might have been Lennon. A half-hearted appeal from him for penalty. A very full-hearted appeal from the old boys section. But Maitland just settled back into that rhythm, and again, I used that word before, Matt. It's almost hypnotic when they just start threading it back and forward from side to side around that defensive unit, using their wing backs, their full-backs. They're just happy to be very patient. I think, it's an underrated skill because it's really easy sometimes to get that rush of blood. It only takes one person to do it, and it all comes unstuck again and breaks down what you've built up.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. I mean, one thing that I know about Adam Hughes is he likes to adopt that style of play, possession-based football, playing in and through the opposition team, and he's definitely brought that to Maitland. You can just see it here in the forefront now. McFarlane drifting out, getting a touch on the ball, and they're enjoying a spell of possession right now.
Gets forward looking for Crowley. Tom Stanley reads it and uses his imposing height to take it away, and Lambton clear it down towards halfway. Adam Hughes up, instructing his men. Lennon pushes it wide. Power O'Toole again. Probably had as many touches as anyone on the field. Butchart slips in behind, almost comes away. McFarlane, can he get a touch? No. Drops down for Cahill. Lockie Graham slides in and manages to hang on to the ball rather than moving it on. Now he sends Lockie Griffiths forward. He was electric at stages in the first half. What can he conjure here? Lockie Griffiths down the left, cuts in, takes a strike. Trot at the near post, reads it and picks it up at his ankles. My, oh my, this game's had a little of everything, and it continues on. Maitland straight away on the counter. Raftery cuts infield, takes a shot, finds the back of Donnellan. Donnellan didn't even know where it had gone. Butchart tried to take a shot. Crowley almost managed to trap that, and if he hadn't trapped it, it would have been danger signs for Lambton.
This game's going end-to-end again now. It's really starting to open up, and Sammy Donnellan just down at the moment. He's one of the players who's had a pretty heavy load the last week or two. He's adopted that right fullback role, and he's not traditionally a fullback, Chris, but he's doing the role and a job at the moment. It's quite tough for any winger to go back and, have the expectation to know how to defend out of nowhere. But
having had the benefit of getting to see him the last 2 league games, yeah, he's busy, he's active. You can see that he plays a little bit like a winger, but he does really well in making sure he tracks back. He's sound there. He doesn't mind getting a little bit of body on body as well, and he's fairly tenacious. So, they're all pretty good characteristics if you're getting someone to transition back. And it seems to be the case at Lambton, where they transition players back. Riley McNaughton's a wonderful example of that. So Sammy Donnellan might need to be careful, because if Topor or McNaughton decide to have a little bit of a break, he might find himself pushed infield further.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't want to be doing that, but
he's doing a wonderful job there.
No, he's doing well. Look, and he's got a football brain, and he knows how to take instructions. And when you've got guys like that, Riley McNaughton and Topos Stanley, to lean on, you can take any advice from those guys, and usually it's the right advice.
It doesn't look like we'll have a change, and Donnellan coming off. That'll leave Lambton with just the 1 rotation remaining. Looks like a like-for-like straight switch out there, Matt. Blake Carter coming on. So, fresh legs might be interesting to see. He's going to have a big job there on Raftery and Power O'Toole on that edge.
Yeah, he's got to get tested early, Blake.
Working down the opposite side for the time being, Cox. Calling players to come to him. Crackenthorpe does well to break it up. A nice little touch on from Griffiths for Cahill. Cahill gets a little clip from behind. The referee plays the advantage. Langlois sends it looking for Carter. The bounce outdoes him. And it's cleared forward for Maitland. Raftery now. Langlois covers across. Raftery decides to put on the afterburners and get to the outside. Langlois loses his footing. McNaughton shapes the kick back to Pandel, but outfoxes a rapidly advancing Raftery and sends it down for Newton. Jackson now working it with his defensive partner. Smale pulls up, decides nothing presents, and they're happy just to take their time again, Maitland, and settle back into the rhythm.
Yeah, Maitland just enjoying another spell of possession at the moment.
You just work it until something presents, and Butchard decides something does present. Crowley calls Butchard to him, cuts wide. Out for Collins. He's shown an ability to feed a dangerous ball. He threads this one to the top of the 18-yard area. McFarlane, Raftery, will he get a shot away? The defensive wall closes. Nice little ball in for Raftery. Again, Pandel takes it easily on the chest and just dives forward to control it.
Jaffas just trying to lock it up there at the back. Tidy little 1-2 from Maitland. Raftery looking dangerous as he grows into this second half. Pandel with a comfortable save in the end, but again, Maitland are knocking on the door. I feel like the Jaffas are slowly crawling their way back into this game.
Well, someone's going to have to grab hold of it soon. Down towards the final 15 minutes of regulation time. It's been an enthralling encounter, but no one's breached the goal yet. Will there be a side to do it, or will it be the defensive prowess of both sides shining to the fore despite some impressive attacking forays? It's always one of those challenging things. People, you see a 0-0 draw, Matt, and you think, oh, that might have been a dour game, especially with the weather we've had. But this has been edge-of-your-seat stuff for 75 minutes so far, and you feel that the next 15 and a bit minutes won't be any different.
Yeah, of course. If you're sitting on the fence with this game, of course you want to see some goals. And I still feel like there will be. I think we're very close to seeing an opener from either side. But yeah, there's been no shortage of chances.
All out in front of Lockie Griffiths. Adam Hughes had his hand in the air, and the assistant referee puts the flag up as well. Adam Hughes might have a post-coaching career change. He's right on that. He had the arm in the air very early. He was actually in the right position just because of where the dugout is situated. Collins now up against Krakenthorpe. He's certainly impressed in his first starting league game this season, Oscar Krakenthorpe. A young name to watch across the future. Taking a shot from range. Pandel calmly watches that past the post, just skips across to cover it. And will be a goal kick. Some more changes warming up for the Jaffas. McShane. And Preston Ridd. This might be Ridd's first league game this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're correct, Chris.
Been doing some good work in the reserve grade competition, though, so always good to see some reward for effort in the lower grades. And Cox gets it across away, but it's deflected. Then he get the second. He prods it forward with the toe. Raftery gets to the outside of Newton. Tries to take a shot. Broken up again. Headed just to the advantage of Maitland. They feed it down Raftery for Cox. Apologies, that was Smale for Cox. Now back to Smale again. He'll cross it into the box. Crowley on top of Stanley. Deflected again, Butchard. Good sliding tackle. Oscar Krakenthorpe inside the 18-yard box. Last line defending has been stout from the Jaffas. But Lambton have not seen away everything yet. Butchard feeds it. Deflected. Collins looking for options. He has to go all the way back to Smale. They're just suffocating with their attacker, Maitland. Lennon wide now. Raftery. He's probably been the best and most active of Maitland's team. Takes a shot. That shot wasn't his best.
Yeah, Jaffas would be happy with that. The ball in the midst of Pandel at the moment. Tommy Waller down. Again, another one of those players who's had a heavy workload.
He's trying to soldier through, but the coaching staff just telling him to head down. Lockie Griffiths has been strong. I don't think he knows that he's coming up. He's just realised. He was heading in the opposite direction, and I'm guessing the other change will be for Tom Waller. So Preston Ridd coming on for Lockie Griffiths, and Zach McShane coming on to deputise in the back line, as he's done quite a bit this year. Yeah, old boys have broken out into song now. It's all happening. I'll tell you what, that tackle from Oscar Krakenthorpe was mature beyond his years. That was perfectly timed inside the 18-yard box. A lot of risk, but a lot of reward in the end when you get it right.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Really good last-ditch defending from Jaffas there. Topper Stanley only moments before. Blocking a shot which looked to be on target. Topper didn't decline it. And then, yeah, Krakenthorpe sliding in. Joey Langlois moments after that. You know, sliding in and putting his leg out. And Maitland are banging on the door at the moment. Definitely look at the better of the two sides right now.
Certainly are. It's a wonderful battle, that one, Crowley and Topper Stanley. Obviously, we know what both of them have done at higher levels. Still absolutely towards the peak of their powers at this level. Ball's gone out. Looked like it was a little hard done by. Adam Hughes agreed with me. The assistant referee didn't, and he's the one that gets to make the decision. McShane now. Will they go the long throw again here? He's winding up. He's literally coming off the, not the proverbial, it is the actual back fence. Winds up, takes the long throw. That is almost on target towards the near post. McShane comes in again, puts pressure on, and gets the last touch, and it'll be a Maitland throw. Feels like the first time that Jaffas have had any real sustained pressure for some time down in the attacking third.
Yeah, Maitland have definitely had the better of the territory in the second half, especially the last 20 minutes or so. It's all been up on the right side of your screen.
Certainly has. And interestingly, Maitland yet to go to their bench despite us being deep into this fixture. I wonder if that's a realisation of Adam Hughes or whether he's just really wanted to rely on his starting 11, a realisation around the workload to come. Opportunity here. Cahill threads it. Bailey Newton just on the back foot, couldn't get to it. Sides getting into each other now. There's no love lost here as this heads deep into this fixture. Inside the final 10 minutes now. Raftery, dangerous, clipped away. Beautiful defensive work there. Carter, Butchard presenting a danger. He's really come into his own late in this second half.
Yeah, Carter with plenty of good touches at the moment. He's definitely seen more of the ball than the first half. They go out to the left again, Maitland.
All right, Toole, little feint up against Carter. Dangerous now. Zach McShane does well, heads it away from the two advancing attackers. All of a sudden, an opportunity to race away down this side now. Cahill does well, beats one, beats another. Nice little touch away from Smale. Bounces off another. Matt Cahill's going to try and do it all himself, is he? Cuts inside two more and then eventually is dispossessed. Matt Cahill's beaten about 5 defenders there and he's advancing down the left wing. And now, Maitland will go to their bench and it'll be Isaac Collins making way. Jackson Burston comes on. If I'm not mistaken, he is the birthday boy. What a story, that would be a late substitute. On his 28th birthday, getting a winner, that could be some story. And for the time being, they send it wide now, Butchard. Here he is, Burston running the overlap on the right. Maybe he won't score, maybe he'll provide it. He crosses it over the back post. The bounce beats Power O'Toole. They're still pressing Maitland. Looking for the first goal as the clock ticks down. Jordan Jackson to Smale. Switches it back the other side to Lennon.
Plenty of tired bodies there now.
See, yeah, just a little bit of fatigue starting to creep in. We saw it at the back end of the first half. Will it lead to a mistake? Lambton trying to claim that went over the byline. Maitland calling for a handball. Referee says neither of those things happen. Oh, error from Lambton. They get away with it for the time being. A little mistake again from McNaughton. Does well just to feed it across. Topple Stanley sweeping around to the right. You can just see now Those heavy legs starting to take the toll for both sides, and this is where a little lapse, a little slip. McShane, it's a pretty clumsy challenge. The referee's going to play the advantage. They sweep it wide now, looking for Newton. Another very ordinary challenge, that one. The referee's going to go to his pocket. Will just be yellow.
Yeah, good work down the flank here from McShane. Maitland still pressing up high. I think they can sense blood at the moment. There's definitely some heavy bodies, heavy legs at the moment for the Jaffas boys. They find themselves in a decent position right now.
So that's the funny thing with some of these games, isn't it? As both teams tie up. It only takes taking one opportunity, despite the plethora Maitland have had and the last line defending that Lambton have been repeatedly called on to do. It only takes one sniff, one chance for it to all be turned on its head.
Is that Riley McNaughton on the ball?
No, Newton, I think.
Newton on the left.
In dangerously into the box, falls. Oscar Krakenthorpe just over the crossbar. It's taken a deflection on the way through. It will be a corner. That would have been a story as well. Your league starting debut.
Yeah, it wasn't far off, Chris. Didn't see the deflection at all, but the referee saw it and was straight onto it.
That's why he's on the big bucks closer than us, Matty.
100%.
I might need to upgrade my prescription on my glasses because neither did I. Headed away by Maitland. McNaughton takes a shot. Again over the crossbar. Both sides know time is ticking down. Both will feel that 3 points would be a fitting reward from this game. You feel you wouldn't begrudge either side if they took the 3 points, but 1 point each at the moment feels fitting as well.
It feels fitting, but it doesn't do any favours.
Doesn't. Into the final five. Thread into the box bursts and Topple Stanley. McShane races back trying to ensure no corner. McFarlane drops it in. He gets it fed back to him. Don't go anywhere, folks. 5 minutes to go and everything on the line here. Sits up nicely for Pandel. A few nervy distributions from Jack Pandel, but otherwise he's been solid since coming on early in the first half for Ben Kennedy.
Yeah, just by the looks of Ben Kennedy as well and the way he come off the field, you'd think Pandel's got at least a couple of games ahead of him now.
Certainly think he's got a chance to really just continue to show his stripes and build his reputation as he goes forward. In the meantime, though, Maitland decide they'll head forward. Oscar Krakenthorpe, I'm not sure what that tackle was. It was about a metre away from anyone. A little nudge there. Carter will go into the book as well. Oh, I've lost Nicola Toppo-Stanley giving a couple of people a spray there as well. I think it was Carter that went into the book in the end. It was kind of just brandished by the referee in the direction of about half a dozen Lambton players.
No, you're correct. It was Carter, and yeah, it was a must-make challenge, really.
Yeah, it's just one of those cynical challenges, wasn't it? Just a little bump from behind. He knew exactly what he was doing, but beat the alternative of someone at this point in the game getting free on goal. A dangerous set piece, though, for the home side here. Can they send their old boys into raptures? They're already on the edges of their seat. They're pressed up against the fence here next to the Lambton Jaffas dugout. Jordan Lennon looking to make a menace of himself and deflected off the wall, and it'll go for a corner.
When any goal now is as good as gold, right? Getting so close to that 90th minute mark.
So I don't think anyone watching at home or even here would have much in the way of fingernails left, because this has been absolutely enthralling, not look away action. End-to-end football brought in now. Headed dangerously, and then it goes in off the header. Is it Crowley? It is. He's got the kid off. He races to the old boys. Oh, we've had a streaker who's been cleaned up. Players jumping the fence. We don't condone any of that, but the excitement from the old boys, and Braden Crowley will go into the book as the scorer. I would suggest he'll also go into the referee's book for getting the jersey off. Braden Crowley, a few deflected headers, and he was the last one to nod at home. He's got the jersey off, the captain's armband stayed on, the referee's got the card out of the pocket, has a smile on his face, and Maitland FC deep in this round 11 clash, lead 1-0, and Crowley has his 9th.
Yeah, wow. What a set piece, and what a reaction from the old boys as well. They were knocking on the door all second half, really, and there was only one moment, you said it, and it's that man, prolific goal scorer for Maitland, just got his head on the end of it. It was like a striker's instinct, right? There's a couple of bobbles here and there, and just tuck the neck and put it into the back of the net, and to be honest, you can't say they haven't deserved it.
No, you certainly can't, but again, still time for another, whether it be for Maitland, whether it be an equaliser from Lambton. Graham feeds it forward. Preston Reed sniffing about there, but it spits out over the sideline. I'll tell you what, that streaker, he might think twice about... normally it's you see a streaker come on and it's someone from the opposition gets hold of him, but it was friendly fire. The players racing towards the old boys, and he just copped a hit up that would have looked fitting at Maitland Sports Ground in the Maitland Pickers black and white.
Yeah, it was a good hit. It was a good shot. I think it was Geordie Lennon, actually.
You can see Geordie Lennon felt bad about it afterwards too, but he just came racing over. Throw goes to Lambton. They get the opportunity here. What can they conjure? They're going to go the long throw again.
Yeah, can Jaffas scourge something out of this game now? They did it a couple of weeks back.
Headed backwards and away and over the byline.
They've actually had a couple of late goals this season.
Fourth official getting ready to put up the board. And knocking on the door of stoppage time here. 3 minutes of additional time is what's displayed, the minimum we have left. Matt Trott will try and chew away a little bit of that, knowing how temporary a 1-0 lead can be.
Yeah, Trott hasn't really been tested this second half, unlike the first half. It's been quite quiet.
Maitland have definitely had the best of it. Ryan McNaughton, a little bump, not a lot in it. A huge reaction, though. Is that Burston that's come across? I'll tell you what, he's going to have to be careful here. I think they had the foul already, and the referee was happy with that. And again, we talked about it earlier, the referee's done a wonderful job of man management today, but I think it's Jackson Burston who's just massively reacted there.
Bit of birthday rage.
He's just excited. He's just, 28's a big moment for him. He's decided to take it out on Riley McNaughton.
Again, well refereed. Get the game going.
We move on. Throw in for Jaffas. A few tackles that, as we're getting a little bit later into this game, just probably not timed as well. McNaughton now. Crowley pushing across to shut down Topor Stanley. Lambton, no. The time is running away from them inside the second minute of added time. Topor Stanley to McNaughton. He's been in absolutely everything today, Riley McNaughton, including that last little brouhaha. Maitland, though, will have the throw. They'll take their time and try and chew it down. This is certainly, as it stands live, is going to liven up the ladder.
Yeah, the score remains. It's the third win for Maitland in a month. It's going to be the first loss for Jaffas in about 2 months. So, Maitland, again, they're not sitting pretty at 10th at the moment, but they do have 2 games in hand, and this result goes pretty far for them.
I was going to say, this result will see them leap up to 8th for the time being. Well aware that we do have a couple of games to come tomorrow, Olympic and Bell Swans and New Lambton and Adamstown. Obviously, that New Lambton and Adamstown one will very much play into the hands of that as well, in terms of Adamstown maybe closing this gap. But if Adamstown were to get 3 points tomorrow as well, then all of a sudden we'd have, within 2 points, 5 teams. 6 teams sitting there between Charlestown, Missouri, and then that would be then down to Maitland on 11 points. So it's certainly tightening up in that race for finals football as we hit the midway point of the season.
Yeah, it's an exciting proposition. Seeing plenty of teams that are knocking on the door for finals football.
Just goes to show, we know before that run of 5 games that Lambton were languishing as the whistle goes. And full time, the old boys erupt here at Maitland, and a deserving win for the Magpies. They soar at home, taking a 1-0 win through the head of Braden Crowley that lifts them up the ladder and breaks that unbeaten run for the Jaffas. But undoubtedly, as the season continues on, both these sides will be well in contention, chasing finals football. Matt, as we said, the game probably deserved a few more goals, but it was an enthralling contest, probably one of the best I've had the opportunity to call this year, and both sides will have plenty to take away from that.
Yeah, for sure, Chris. It was a game full of chances, and regardless of the scoreline, it's good football from both sides. And you'd probably say Jaffas had the better of the first half, only just. The second half was all Maitland, though. You know, Trott didn't have much to do, the goalkeeper for Maitland, in the second half, and you know, they were playing some really nice football. Adam Hughes would be stoked with that result, and you know, they can try to build some sort of momentum now, Maitland, as they head into this second leg of the season.
Yeah, certainly a gritty showing from Adam Hughes' men, and Braden Crowley was the man, unsurprisingly, that stepped up when it mattered. That is back-to-back league wins, albeit quite a period apart for Maitland. They've knocked off Azuri, and now a win at home against the Jaffas 1-0. And it shows that Maitland are building something despite a slow start to the season. A big thank you for joining us here on Northern New South Wales Football's YouTube channel. Of course, a reminder that you can catch all of the men's and women's first grade and reserve grade NPL fixtures live and free here throughout the season, including the finals campaign. Make sure you stay tuned for games tomorrow, including the Women's League Cup final coming live to you from Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. But for this evening, signing out for myself and Matt Butner, enjoy your Saturday evening, and we look forward to bringing you more football action again soon.
Alcohol out of the ground. No alcohol is to be taken outside.